As you all know, I work with Coinbase as the West Africa lead for Base, and our goal here in the Base ecosystem is to just make sure we identify and actually support active folks building products that actually solve problems, and also creators that are actually trying to push out the different and amplify the different good stuff happening in the Base ecosystem. And like our goal is to just make sure these two set of people actually win as much as possible, right? And that is actually what we want to talk about on this live stream, right? How we can help these founders win as much as possible on a global scale. Machuche is a very good example. So yes, thanks so much for actually having us, and thanks for like
Thank you.
attending this, right?
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very humble intro, but I'll let you slide for today. Okay, Machuche, over to you. Over to you,
Yeah,
Machuche.
I think I definitely agree with you on that being a humble intro for Dami. I can definitely say that.
I
Uh,
mean, what else? What else? What else do you want me to say?
I mean, yeah, sometimes it goes without saying, right? So sometimes you don't have to say much, really. But yeah, thanks again for having me, guys. Like it's always a pleasure, like jamming with Blaze. I feel like I owe a lot to the guys. So yeah, for those that don't know me, my name is Machuche. I'm from Tanzania. Co-founder and CEO at Nedapay, and we're building infrastructure for global payments with stablecoins, specifically non-USD stablecoins, and we're also issuing stablecoin for Tanzania as well. We've got initial approval and teaser. We are looking to go live by as early as next week, right?
Yo,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
good.
thank you, thank you. This is where the claps come in, right? Um, yeah,
We
but
still need to figure out that thing.
yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, we operate in around 10 countries, I think, for Nedapay, but our core focus is markets in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, and we've recently started expanding to Asia as well, right? Which we are looking to also roll out, markets as part of our V2 that we're also releasing. So that's another teaser there as well. So yeah, I think I'll end there for an intro. And again, thanks for having me as well.
Oh,
Awesome.
thanks for being here. So before we continue, I just want to respond to the comments on the chat box. Yeah, I can see I I am Mimi. Just quick one, if you don't know, I'm always murdering people's names, so get used to it. I can see crypt terms, and she said we're live. Yes, we're live. Welcome, Dave. That's what she said.
Thank you.
Um, and she said, she said a humble intro indeed. Okay, keep those comments coming in, and if you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. We'll be happy to share it and put it out there because you're right in front of Dami and Machuche. Machuche, for those of you that don't know, he won. He was part of the winners for base batches 002. So, and I know a lot of people are applying, want to apply, want to be part of base batches 003. So please drop those comments, ask those questions, and I'm sure he's going to try his best to give you a reasonable answer. Okay, I have a couple of questions, like you should know, right? That's for Dami and Machuche. So first, I will be saying, first question is going to you, Dami. What is base batches? A couple of people just um, don't know what it is. It is very catchy. For some time, myself, I was like, what is happening? Is it for a selected few chosen ones? And what is base batches? Could you just answer that question and we'll move on? Okay.
Yeah, sure, sure. Quick one, right? So, I would love this to be like a very, very good
Oh, excuse me.
conversation, right? So people actually understand, they understand where we are coming from and like how we got where we are, right? So, for the OGs in the ecosystem, right? And I mean the guys that have actually been here from day one. Um, we've actually been doing buildathon since 2024, right? So we call it buildathon because like business for everyone, and so we don't want to focus on developers alone, and so we're actually trying to bring both creators, marketers, designers, everybody together. So we don't call it hackathons. We at that time we called it buildathons, right? I'm not sure if Machuche even remembers this time, but
From day
the
one.
idea was Yeah, man. So the idea was to get everyone to come in. So even at, in during those times, they were actually non-technical. So there were tracks for non-technical folks as well. So if you were like someone that could actually host events, you could actually just host events about a particular base product in your society and submit that as well, right? So that was where we started from, right? And with time, as it's the principle of growth, right? We always try to just sit down, look at okay, um, um, what worked well, and then try to refine it, right? So during those times, we actually looked at it that okay, we saw people actually building, right? So there were a lot of people building products, but once they built these products, that was where it ended, right? For most people. So for some, it's either they were not really interested in like pushing the product forward. For others that were very serious, they wanted to push the product forward, but like there was no avenue or like practical support and resources to actually do that, right? And so that was where the idea of base batches came. And so base batches 001 started around I think March 2025, right? And the idea behind base batches 001 was okay, we have a buildathon, and then after a buildathon, we would have like a mini incubator, a mini virtual incubator, right? To just incubate the winners or like the very quality products. And then from there, we can now then connect these products to like investors. So that was the idea behind this batch 001. And it was very nice to be honest, because like we had a couple of people. So this was where Zero Card was came in. This was where BitSafe came in, and a couple of other known products like in the base ecosystem today, right? And so once they came in, oh awesome. So once they had this buildathon, and then we now actually had like a 4 week virtual incubator, and then from there we had a demo day virtually. And so this was where we actually brought these folks in front of Balaji, in front of Alliance DAO, in front of Coinbase Ventures, and then they actually we actually just gave them a platform virtually globally to actually just pitch their products, right? But later on, after that experience, then we thought, okay, let's take this one step further, right? So instead of virtual, let's make it physical. And so that was where Base Battle 002 came in, right? That Machuche won. So there was like there were like two tracks. So there was like the startup track, and then I think the builders track. Startup track for like folks that already have a lot of distribution or traction already, and then we had like this builders track for guys that are just starting out, right? And so in the startup track, we had like a lot of people that actually applied, but 5 winners came on, and that was where Machuche was one of them with Nedapay. We had Paycrest, we had Hurupe, we had Genie AI, and then we had Bitsafe. Right? And then so these 5 founders, we actually flew them out to Argentina, right? And the main goal for that was just to make sure these founders could connect with like important stakeholders in the Ethereum ecosystem, right? And it was nice because I was also there as well. It was nice to actually see a lot of folks. Machuche was there. They went on stage. I can't forget that day. Particularly this guy. What's his name? Chibi. Chibi was practicing his speech over and over again, man. Like it
So
was
into the
crazy,
wall.
bro. Like, and I would took a video. I think I posted it at some point in time. But yeah, it was nice because like, we had a full room of white, so a full room of white people, investors. I even saw some of these VCs there. I think Maria of Electric Capital was there. She actually came on there and sat down as well. And then you saw, so it was very unusual. And the reason why I said it was unusual was because most of the folks that were there were white. Because this was Argentina. It was the capital of Argentina, right? But like you would see, and then you come up on stage, and then you see people like Machuche, a black man, speaking in front of like a room that is full of whites, right? And it was unusual, but it was very nice to see because like a lot of folks actually came up to us, and they were like, "This is the first time they will see black founders pitching confidently in front in a full room of whites, right?" So it was very nice to see. And then that was something that we actually saw, and we're like, okay, you know what? This has to repeat itself, but on a much more important and global stage, right? So that was what gave birth to Base Batch 003, right? And so instead of doing it in in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Let's do it in the heart and the capital of tech itself globally. And so that was where the idea of doing it in San Francisco came up, right?
Hmm.
San Francisco is like so Silicon Valley is in San Francisco, right? And that is like the heart of tech. And one more reason we're actually
Yeah.
doing it there for this session is just because we want to make sure these founders that actually go, they actually get funding or investment. And like
Hmm.
in the world right now, San Francisco is like the place with the highest probability of getting capital, right? So in a nutshell, Base Batches is just an accelerator program, the top accelerator program in crypto right now, to be very honest, where we are trying to move founders from idea stage to a thriving business stage. That's it.
Please, we need to give Dami a round of applause because I
I
think he
beg,
did
I beg.
justice to that. So I had my own experience when I was in Argentina as well, and I saw a lot of Africans showing. You remember when we stole the show on stage?
Of
Remember when we
course,
stole?
Afrobeat to Latinas.
it was
It was
it
dope.
was so amazing. Like the confidence you see with the Africans that got the privilege to travel and to pitch in a global stage was just amazing. It was just validity to show that we have all it takes. We have what it takes to like take whatever we build locally to the world, right? And I think the badge basis is doing an amazing thing when it comes to like exposing Africans to the world. So yeah, Machuche, my next question to you is, what made you build Nedapay? And this is the straight. We don't want a VC response. We're family right
Yeah,
now. We don't. What made you build Nedapay? Let's know the drive, why you saw this was a problem, and why you knew you could be the person that will solve that problem, the challenge that we're currently having and that Nedapay is solving. Yeah.
yeah, of course. Thanks again. So for those that are not aware, I used to work in banking, right? Like I used to work like 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, and fortunately or unfortunately, as we say in Swahili, um, uh, I used to work in agency banking, right? So with agency banking, you're pretty much working with guys that are unbanked, right? Guys that aren't really like big ticket like guys, right? It's guys that in villages, guys that are banks. So like you have to like deal with them on
Yeah.
a personal level, right? So it's not banking hours, but they're still gonna call you at 2 a.m. to say, hey, why isn't my money arrived yet? Or like, why am I not
What?
getting it? You know, that
Are
type
you
of thing.
serious?
So it was kind of hectic, right? So you'd see the challenges there, firsthand,
Mm,
transactions, delays, if some of them want to send money cross borders, you could see the challenges, right? And this is years ago. This is right when I kind of like bumped into stablecoins, right? Because I was like into like blockchain and Bitcoin, but like when stablecoins came about, this is when like I started taking them seriously, especially with like USD stablecoins, because a lot of them customers was actually requesting USD, right? But obviously, as we know, with the banking system and the traditional fiat rails, it's legacy systems, right? So that takes a bit of time with adoption, right? So I was trying to convince the bank to actually get into my way of thinking, and they try to get me say like, "Hey, yeah, that's great and everything. You could have your own department where you could do everything." We all know how these things go, right? So
yeah.
nothing happened there, right? My time there was almost done. They wanted me to renew, but I was like, "Hey, maybe this is time to actually go do my own thing." Right, and
Then you decided to kick them out.
well, not kick them out because like today we are kind of like working together, so you can see how
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things turn out, right?
yeah.
But yeah, it also kind of like builds like kind of respect because now I take you kind of a bit more seriously.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so after banking, I pretty much said like, hey, now I think it's time to do my own thing, and I've always been passionate about social capital, right? So, like
Okay.
I mentioned earlier previously, like on Washkada, we started building that, which is pretty much like empowering social capital from within, right? So, started experimenting with a community currency back then, and it's still going on right now in the community in Burahati. We have over close to 100 members there. They made up every 10 days.
Ooh,
They scan
wow.
each other. They get like $2 in kind of like UBI, but like in local currency equivalent, right? And they can spend it within the community, and it's backed by real money, right? So
Yes. Yes.
we're moving that all of that infrastructure on chain to base as well recently. Uh, but um, but yeah, overall, I would say that's pretty much about it. But the whole focus has been on like trying to see what's the easiest way on which you can get guys on chain, right? So even for Nedapay, it was like, hey, we are solving this whole issue of community currencies, but what's the easiest way we can get guys on chain and get guys actually transacting in the proper way, right? Not just a community in Burahati, right? Because that's just one section of Dar es Salaam, for instance, and Dar es Salaam is just
Yeah.
one section of Tanzania, right? So this needs to be like nationwide, at least. And even after being nationwide, how can we make it interoperable with other global financial systems, right? Like the US dollar, the euro, and the like, right? So I think this is right about when, like Dami mentioned, on like those first base interviews. I think Kiara from Tanzania, they had a base meetup in Dar es Salaam, right? So I was like, hey, let me go check these guys out. Let me see what they're saying, right? So I go there, I hear Jesse's manifesto and like, hey, they're trying to bring like 25 currencies on chain, right? I'm like, man, maybe this guy is actually speaking my language, right? So that's when I was like, and this is pretty much right after we start, right before, I think right after, yeah, we was trying to build like this local stablecoin on a bunch of other chains, but like there wasn't showing no love or no support, right? And this guy here is like, yo, we're trying to bring this country on chain, and we can make it happen. So I was like, man, this guy's talking my language. So, so right about then, that's when base batches also came about, and we started building Nedapay now, like serious start showing like, hey, what if we can actually show use cases for not just the Tanzanian stablecoin, but these other stablecoins that's already existing on
Okay,
on
wait,
on
wait, wait, David. So it's you actually built NetApp in base batch 001. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's when we started building Nedapay. Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah.
Wait up,
So
wait up, wait up, wait up. You started, wait, you mean you started because of the base, like that was when you started during the window
no,
of base badges.
no. So we actually won base batches one on the stablecoin track, right? With zero card in them, right? And for base
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, for base batches too, is pretty much to show like, hey, we made significant growth since base batches one, right? Whereas we're about to launch our local stablecoin. We just got government approval. We've been working with banks, so it was more like, hey, we have these APIs as well that already these banks are already integrating, right? Like the whole world needs to hear about this, right? That's why we applied for base batches too, right? And that's why, like Davi mentioned, we go there and started talking about basically what we've been doing, like how we got the approval, initial approval, how we've been working with the banks as well, and now we're even working with more PSPs now, So we've been growing and growing and growing, and now we're about to issue our own local stablecoin, like I said in Argentina. And yeah, and that's pretty much how Nedapay came about, and we've made significant traction there. Like I mentioned, we just got approval. We're working with these banks. We are rolling out new markets in Asia now, and
Wow.
we're also now plugging in into local Web2 providers and local Web2 guys who transact, but now using our infrastructure, right? And I think that's how
That's
we
what we're
really
talking about.
get guys on chain, especially locally, right? And I think for certain countries, there are certain use cases, right? But even for Tanzania, it's a particular use cases that can actually like push the limits, right? With initial approval, guys can actually deposit. We have fund managers, we have yields for up to what, like 14, 15%, right? But then you have another layer where like even fintechs, traditional banks can use our infrastructure for settlements, right? Because we've also built this wallet as a service thing that comes with an NTZS SDK, right, where you have on and off ramp rails, you have ability to deposit to any bank, any mobile money, right, and we
Hmm.
have plugs to the cheapest PSP slash access to like the banking rails for the central bank, right? So that's close to zero fees, right? So that's even cheaper for the traditional user who's trying to
Yeah.
pay with M-Pesa, who's trying to send money with M-Pesa, or the other use cases, right? So we're not even trying to compete with M-Pesa, and that's not even our model, right? But like it just shows you like, hey, imagine if you could just start building today, right? Because the biggest thing has been, even for guys I've seen in Tanzania, for instance, they can get started with building. If you're just a startup, you have to like get a business license, go to da 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 da, just to have a proof of concept, right? And which you're not even
Wow.
sure, right, if you're gonna get customers or if it's gonna work, right? So and that's because Vodacom, for instance, themselves, they need you to have a license. They need you to have all this information so they can even get you into their samples, right? Which is next to like very, very difficult. So like we build on infrastructure where like, hey, imagine if you have this simple SDK, get started, testing it, we have access to on and off ramp rails for real money, right? So just test everything how it works, and if you're ready to go live, you just go live, right? And I think that's the beauty of even having um, local infrastructure for every country, that you can just easily enable them to get on chain, right?
Yep.
When you
Mhm.
think of it, and when I really think of it, and this is our thesis at Needed Labs, right? We really think like this whole infrastructure for wallet as a service as well, which pretty much comes as a package, pretty much is going to really accelerate guys on chain easily, just like that. And it's going to bring institutions, it's going to bring businesses on chain, and as well as individuals, right? So we have a couple retail as well as B2B use cases set up there. And yeah, I think it's looking pretty lively there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end there. I think I've been chatting for the longest.
Okay, great one, great one. This is me giving you applause. I think the story, something I've learned from what you just said is like you just keep going. It seems like you just don't stop. You just keep going from trying. Oh, you want to do stuff with the banks and it couldn't work at first. You're trying to, oh, let's do this for locals, and they weren't speaking your language, like you said. And you decided to say, you know what, let me try and do something different. And great job with the wins and how Nedapay is like growing, big one. I have a question for Dami because I really, really want our listeners to know about and understand base batches, right? So I'm going to give you like a shotgun questions, especially for those. This is for Africans. I'm a big fan for creatives. So my question is how, because in the community we have the base community on TG. I've gotten a couple of people reach out to me asking, "Oh, I'm a product designer and all of that. How can they plug in to be part of the base batches?"
Okay, awesome. I think so previously, like around 2024, we had this track. So we had tracks for non-technical people. We had creator tracks, we had all of this stuff, right? But one thing that we actually noticed so far is there is the juice, or let me say the tea, is in the technical guys coming in and working with the non-technical guys. Do you understand? Because like the
Right.
non-technical guys cannot definitely, of course, build a product on their own, right? Because they don't know how to write code. As at then, right now, you can actually use Claude code to actually build your stuff, right? But
Yeah.
um, and even if you can use Claude code right now, to be honest, like if you are writing a smart contract that will hold people's money, you have to know what you are doing, and so you need someone that is very technical also, right?
At the end, yeah.
And so one thing that we've seen so far is it is actually much more beneficial for both parties if the technical guys come together and work with the non-technical guys, right? And the
Yes.
more success, the more success that the technical guys have with their products turning into a full-fledged business, then the more bandwidth they would have to hire the non-technical guys to work with them and keep building this business. Because like a business is not run by one man. All right. So
Fact.
we are all here today because like Base came up as like a startup and a bigger organization called Coinbase, right? Coinbase currently have, I think, if not 4 to 5 thousand employees, right? So that is an amalgamation of both technical people and non-technical people. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
so that is how a business is run, right? And so the idea of base batches is combining those two forces together. So if you are a non-technical person, you might not be able to directly apply, right? But the key here is you can actually work with a team that is building a product, right? Work with them and make sure, okay, whatever they are doing, you as a non-technical person, you are contributing your skill set to that. So if you are a marketer, help them market this product, right? If
Yeah.
you are a creator, do everything in your power to create content to amplify what they are doing, right? If you are a product designer, okay, go through the landing page, the product UI, the product UX
Mhm.
of that particular product and see that it is as beautiful as possible, right? Because like
Yeah.
the success of that particular product means they can raise more capital, which means the founder can use that capital to hire more people, both technical and non-technical, and like that flywheel keeps going, right? So like
Yeah.
that is what we are betting on. That is what has worked so far in the world, and like that is
Yes.
what we that is how non-technical people can actually come in and plug into base batches. So if you actually
Great.
know of a team that is kind of like that, you know they have a shot at applying for base batch 003 and being in San Francisco, try to work with them as much as possible, right? Come in with your skill sets. If you're a marketer, help them market their products so they get more users and more traction. And by that, they stand the chance to actually go to San Francisco. Because at the end of the day, if they raise 50K, 100K, 150K, 200K, that money will still come into your own pocket,
Oh,
right?
Lord.
And it will also
Yes,
help
sir.
to like grow the ecosystem. So like that's the
Thanks.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And just what Dami just said, if you're interested in finding those products, products going for the base batches, we have the Telegram group, base Telegram group. Join in, and you can just put it out there and say, "Hey, I'm a product designer. I'm a marketer. I'm interested," and they are always going to hit you up in your DMs. It's that easy to get connected with the right people because we have like-minded people in the community, and that is the best. That's your best bet. That's your best bet, if you ask me, to get connected with product or founders who are looking for your skill set. And if you're a creator and you're listening, there's that feeling of being left out. The truth is, if you're good at what you do, and you know the right places to be. If you're in the right community, our base community on Telegram is fire. It is the best place to get the right people building, right? So come in, drop a DM. It doesn't have to be a DM. You can literally just drop it on the group and say, "This is what I do," because we encourage that. We encourage that on the Telegram group. We do encourage that, and we also have a base mock system going on where we're helping founders and products, people building, like trying to ensure that they have their whole business plan set, their product is set and ready to be shipped out, right? And that we help them stand a chance to even package whatever they're building, right? Because we don't want a case where you travel to San Francisco and you are half cooked or you're half baked, right?
bro,
So
bro, it can't even happen. Like, cause the whole interview process is to actually sieve out folks, right? So, yeah. So if you're actually interested in like base batches, like just hit, you can see on the screen, just hit Echo up in his DMs, right? We'll add you into that group for specific founders to just help you prepare as much as possible because like this is actually a very big opportunity to be very honest. It's not every day you see an ecosystem trying to fly people out to San Francisco, right? And
yeah,
I'm not sure this has even ever happened in like the
fly
unchained
me.
history of Africa, right? So yeah, yeah, that's us. Back to you, Echo.
Okay. Yeah. So before I continue, I just want to say that I like flying. I like flying, Dami, just so you know. I just want to put
Hey,
it out.
hey, I don't like flying. I don't like flying, but like if there's anywhere I'd wanna fly right now, in particular, it would be San Francisco. It would be San Francisco.
So yeah, so San Francisco is an amazing place. Just the name alone, then just go and do your homework and Google it and see how beautiful that place is. First of all, you want to be a founder. So back to Machuche. Uh, One question I want to ask, and this is just for I've had the privilege to work with a lot of developers myself and founders, right? And you there's I know, but I didn't know before now. I know there's a difference between being a developer because when I was searching you up and checking out, oh, who's David Machuche, right? There was a lot of things that are there about back-to-back wins. Um, like before the live started, I remember asking you a question about whether you had the product before now. You're like, yeah, and that one is also a success story, right? So my question actually is there a difference between being a dev and being a founder? What's the mix? What's the different skill set? Being a developer and you know how to develop product and you know how to ship a product as a developer as well. What because there's a lot of people that are developers, but when it comes to being founders, what does it take to be a founder? I think that's like the easiest way to ask the question.
Yeah, I think this is like a whole session in itself, right? I think I think that's a solid point because I think a lot of people confuse the two, right? You could be a very very good developer, right? And which is not a bad thing, and that's why some people pay top money for top developers, right? Because they can properly articulate what they have in their head into like a proper product, right? But like once you have a product, actually pushing it to market, selling it, getting users, getting people to know about it, getting feedback, having that humility to actually communicate with your users. Because in Swahili, for instance, we have this saying that say, "Hey, customers are never wrong, man." Right? Like regardless of how they shout or they complain at you, but you can never go back and forth with the customer if it's your product, right? Like these guys are gonna
Mm-hmm.
go there and say, "Hey, this guy's he's got like shitty customer service," right? So that all comes with like being a founder as well, right? Like you need to be the face, you need to be selling your product, right? So like Dami mentioned, it could be okay to be a really good developer but not be as good of a face of a product, for instance. But that's why you have like co-founders as well. That's why you have guys who can actually add value. And what I'm seeing a lot more these days is either you need to be a good content creator or have like another co-founder who's actually a solid content creator, right? Like that goes without saying, right? And that's something I'm seeing a lot these days, right? Like you could be a solid developer, but like you're gonna need someone who's like at least like a good marketer who can talk about the product like properly, right? Or
Mm.
even if be the face of the product if need be, right? Because do you want to own 100% and not make no money, or do you want to own like X% but still make a lot of money, right? I think it goes down to that end of the day when you really think of it. So founder comes with a lot of founder responsibility as well. Like I mentioned, you're face of the product, right? So whatever happens with the product, most of the time these customers are gonna relate to you, right? So if it's good, then that's great, right? If it's bad, then that's another bad thing. And you also need to be able to take feedback, right? So that's another valuable aspect that a lot of people also can't really fathom, right? Like being a founder comes with a lot of things, and like you need to be front face. If someone complains, like I mentioned, like yeah, you can go back and forth. So
Yeah.
um it's a lot, right? It's stressful, but like I think that's what you sign up for when you're being a founder, right? If you don't want to be a founder, you can just be a developer, which is okay, and still make good money, still live a chilled life. Because most developers sometimes they just don't want that stress, right? Like the chill, they be in the background, they're okay being in the background, right? But if you're a
Yeah.
founder, you can't just be okay being in the background. You can't afford to even be just in the background and chill, right? Especially these days, right? Like you gotta be hungry, you gotta be
Mm.
aggressive, you gotta be like going for it every day, right? Because if you don't, the next guy is gonna go for it, right? So, especially these days
Yeah.
where like for instance, in finance or in fintech, everyone is just building the same kind of products or the same wrappers. Like so, like how are you gonna be different? You either like are hungrier or like you're very very different and you have a mold, right? So yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents on um, differences between like a developer and a founder. But it's also okay as well to like also
Dami,
learn,
what
right? Like developer and then be a founder as well as you grow, and because there's nothing like a skill that can be learned, right? You can always be a developer. You can learn how to do public speaking. You can learn how to
mm.
um, use your
Yeah.
post, learn how to pitch. So it comes together. So it's just like timing and putting in the work, really.
When you say, you make it sound easy because when I was doing the research, it spoke about your developer skills and your entrepreneurial skills, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
Are you
what's
sure you didn't
this?
ChatGPT me? It
Yeah.
sounds like you ChatGPT'd me, bro.
so so I did my research. I'm not going to tell you where I got the info from. I don't spill all those secrets out like that. You'd have to pay. But yeah, yeah, I did check you out on X and all of that, right? And it spoke about your entrepreneurial skills, and yeah, even with the way you handle conversations, I know you're good with speaking out about telling people about your product and letting people see what's all about, right? Then what's your take on it? What's your take on, because you definitely have seen a lot of developers and founders, right? What's your take on the difference between being a founder, or what it takes to be a founder, aside from being a developer? Like he said, many, or like you said, I think you don't want to mention that you could use cloud code now to spin off a product and all of that, right? But it's different from spinning up a product and being a founder. If you look closely, there's a lot of products that are similar, like he said, like
Yeah.
and what's because when we were having a conversation, I remember something you said, I think a few days ago, where you spoke about quality of founder quality, as something that you look into, and that like there's a way there's that people can have quality as a founder beyond the product being a quality product. As a founder, you can be a quality founder. So I don't know, can you like shed a little light?
Sure, sure. And to be honest, like being very, I like this question, right? Because like that is something that I don't think we Africans have excelled at 100%. To be very honest, right? Of course, we can also do better on the product angle, right? But on being like on developing character to be like, so there are two things, right? You can build a world class product, and then you can also be a world class founder. Like those two things are mutually exclusive. So when I say mutually exclusive, I mean they can exist on their own, right? You don't need to be a world class founder to be a world to build a world class product. To be honest, you can get lucky, build
Mhm.
something that will blow up, right? But you cannot randomly be a world class founder. It's not possible, right? It has to do with like intentional preparations, right? And like
Mm.
some things that actually, because I've seen, I mean, like you said, I've seen a lot of founders. I work at Polygon, and then I'm also working at Coinbase now, and I've seen a lot of like I've been able to like talk to a lot of founders, right? And like
Yeah.
one thing that I've seen that actually separates like founders that end up maybe doing so well and founders that just trying is, one thing is that mindset that I am responsible for my failure or success. Like that thing is very, is like a very very differentiating trait, right? Because like you see some, and it does, that particular character actually trickles down, because at the end of the day, you see a founder that has that kind of mindset and that kind of like traits, they will do whatever it takes to just make sure they hit gold. So what this means is it can be that they'll create like 5 to 6 products. They don't care, right? They'll just keep going again and again and again to just till they make sure, okay, they hit one that would actually give them what they want. We have examples in
Matt,
like the African
sorry,
ecosystem.
sir. I would say I saw Machuche smiling when you were saying like building a couple of products till they hit something. I was wondering, did something come into mind, Machuche? You're muted.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry. I was saying, yeah, I think it's just because it's something that like happens. I think it's common for a lot of builders, right? Like, it's a lot of like hit and runs, right? And these days you need some kind of sort of validation at least. And one thing I realized, and it's another huge thing that I'm also thankful for, like incubates as well as base batches, right? Because if you haven't really thought of the user, right? Because sometimes you like say, hey, you want to build a hackathon like project and go for it, but like makes you think like, hey, have you talked to your users? Do you know what the problem is? What's your GTM? How do you get started? And this is things like a lot of startups just miss right from the go, right? Because if you miss this from the go, then that means you're pretty much going to be stuck for a while, right? Until you get these things. And that's why also people pay a
Yeah,
lot of money for like a go-to-market strategies, for instance, right? They pay a
yeah.
lot of money for like a branding guy, right? A positioning guy, like how do you position your brand, things like this, right? So, um,
So,
I think those are
so
a lot of things.
sorry, I had to cut Dami because I saw you smiling when he made a point. So I
Yeah,
don't want him to lose his trail of thought. So
for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
back
Oh no, I
back to you,
mean,
Dami.
I
Okay,
mean, like, he's actually making my points, to be honest, because like you see, all of these
okay.
things still boils down back to the character of I want to win. Like,
Hmm.
I am responsible for my win or my failure, right? Because like you cannot know everything. No, nobody knows everything. So there are a lot of aspects to running a business, right? There is the technical aspects, there's the marketing aspects, there's the BD aspects, there's the legal aspects, there's the compliance aspects, there's the finance aspects, like the accounting aspects. Do you
We need a
understand?
master
There's
class.
the
We need a master class. How did you call those aspects? Like,
al- although like if you, so for instance, if you work in a company, like of course you see, okay, these are different departments that there are. And also if you've like spoken to this one over and over again, you've seen all of these things, you see, okay, these are the things that they need. Do you understand? So like there is like this different aspects, and like as one person you don't know it all, right? And you cannot even know it all, to be very honest, unless if in this era of AI agents, right? So AI agents can do most of those things, and you just be there to just kind of supervise. But like at the end of the day, you need a lot of things, and you need to learn as you go. You cannot know everything. And so that is where the mindset of, going back to my point again, mindset of I am responsible for my win or my failure comes in. Like you can learn whatever you need to learn to just make sure you do it, right? Or you get things done. So I don't know a shit about GTM. I don't need to sit down and just leave it to someone else. Let me go and understand how GTM works. Or I
mhm.
try to find someone that is a GTM strategist or a marketer and work with them. Do you understand? So like that
Yeah,
mindset is just something that I that's like number one when it comes to like defining a quality founder. And let me say, like that is like the defining quality of like founders that actually go far and like at least
hmm,
get some sort of decent success. I think Machuche is a very good example. Like you actually said,
yeah,
Machuche has created a lot of stuff. Nedapay is one of them, right? And even with Nedapay, he's trying to like diversify into different things as well. So he's trying to build the Tanzanian stable coin, and
yeah,
he's doing it mostly solo in Tanzania, right? With little help from like our BD team as well.
yeah.
And like those are like kind of qualities that I just make. So someone like Yele now, you see Yele going from products to
Come on.
products, trying to find PMF. People
Yeah,
like people like Unjoku from
Joku.
laser pay to what is doing now with liquid and what is
Yeah,
doing now with ultra markets. You see you see Chibi from leaving Gitcoin to currently
to
running
you doing his
Paycrest.
own stuff. Yeah,
So like that mindset is just very important. I think a lot of things tie into that mindset. I think if you ask me what is the one thing that a founder should have, I think it's just making sure that you own or you are responsible for your win or your failure. Like once that sets in, you won't come and wait for someone to come and do something for you, or you come and complain that
yes.
someone is not doing. You take the bulls by the horn and just get going.
Like if like just talking about this now, I feel like it's a necessary point to put out there. If you compare the Web2 founders and the Web3 founders in quotes, you notice there's a lot of like Web2 founders own their products. They are ready to look for VCs wherever they are. And if they see them, they see them as an opportunity. They don't get to say, oh, you owe me this or you owe me that. They understand their product, that the product is here because I am here and it's going to succeed because I'm here. But I would say, sadly, we get to see a lot of Web3 founders just having this a kind of will I say entitlement, because the people that have won, they didn't just pick them, they didn't pick them like from birth and say, hey, we're going to sponsor you. They proved themselves over and over and over again. They showed up
Yeah,
when other people didn't show up. They had to prove
yeah.
something before they became that star founder, if I may say. Why Machuche? Yeah,
We put in
and
work. We put in
go
work,
ahead.
bro. I would say
Yes.
what we put in work, right? And it goes back to Dami's point, right? Like you don't have to have everything figured out, right? Even when we was building Nedapay, we didn't have everything figured out, right? But like through sheer intention, right, we had things figured out, right? And it worked
Mhm.
out, right? And now it's even easier. You have AI, right? You have cloud, right? So it's like there's no excuse for you not to be building even that idea that could literally be me $1 million idea that's just chilling in your brain, right? And just chilling as an idea. So you never know until you
Yeah.
shoot the shot, right? And like if
Yeah.
you have a high conviction in your idea, I think like base is always there to support, and I think guys like Dami have been doing like a tremendous
Yes.
job at this as well.
Yeah, and I'm like Dami, I'm looking forward to the master. I'm I meant it when I said the master class. I think you need to something for founders. I'm serious. You
Okay, so
mentioned you were thinking about it.
you
Like
know we
beyond
have
just
okay, so yeah, you know we have plans for it, right? So it's coming up, of course, a founder
yes,
structure.
yes. I want you to say it yourself so they hear it from your mouth and get ready. So like you guys have heard it, there's because I've had the privilege to speak with Dami. I've had him talk about products even when he's talking to founders, and I'm like, oh, I used to believe, or I know stuff, but when you hear other people, you're like, there's more to this, right? And as you can't know everything, one thing you can't know everything. And I love the plans that the base team is having and planning for founders to really expose you to being beyond just a product and being a quality founder, right? What it takes, how to go global, and all of that. So stay glued. If you're not part of the community, I can see someone on the chat bot. Yeah, I think I should move to the chat bot a little bit. Someone asking how they can be part of the base community, right? I don't know. Please, Dami, could you drop it on like the link? I'm trying to, but for some
Sure,
reason I'm unable to do that, right?
sure. So easily people can just go to the base West Africa profile and just click on like the link there anyway, but I'll still drop it here.
Okay, yeah, cool. And someone, someone said she likes flying too. When I think that was when I made that that statement. We're all flyers. If you think about it, we're all high flyers already.
Yeah, you guys
It's
are
all
always welcome
right.
as well, you know.
This is 7:56, and I know how Dami is always he has spoken to me about time and all of that, and I believe Machuche also has a lot of things on his plate, and so I want to wrap this up. But before I wrap it up, I would like to go outside the box, and I just want to make it open. Right now, we're having what's happening of Web3 in Africa? What's the state of Web3 globally? Do you have something you wish more people knew about or an information that could help? That's beyond just what the discussion is about, like base batches and winning. Oh no! Before we go to that question, how does it feel winning, being part of the winners for base batches 002? I just want to know how it feels.
Yeah, it feels sensational, man. Like, like I remember even in Argentina, that them was kind of like teasing it, but I was like, like, but when it actually happens, it's like sensational, especially like um what I got from it overall, right? Like, so like flying to Argentina is not even the hardest part, right? There's like a whole lot of people over there that you actually have to meet, talk, mingle, sometimes pitch, and sometimes like it's a bunch of people, right? You might even be pitching to the wrong person or talking to the wrong person, right? But like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I was fortunate enough, right? I was fortunate enough to, um, you know, form a lot of connections, some that we're even working together till this day. For
wow,
instance, we're setting up some stablecoin pools together, right, for the local stablecoin building.
yeah,
Some other partnerships we have finally secured. Our issue of doing payouts to China, for instance, right? So all these things were made possible pretty much just by flying to Argentina, right? Like,
yeah,
this is all made possible through base, right? So um, like even going to San Francisco, which is pretty much the tech hub right now, and where you can easily like secure funding. I think that's a
yeah,
great value, like a lot of builders right now, and like it goes without saying, like, hey, it's a no-brainer. Like, hey, if you could be in San Francisco, like Echo mentioned, like if you haven't done the maths or the research, you might as well check out San Francisco right now, right? So, if you're building something cool, if you're building something legit, it's a place where you can literally just get funded with your idea, right? But imagine if you go there with not just an idea, but like a polished product. You've gone through like
Yep.
base batches is polished and everything. You have GTM, like bro, it's just like that, right? So that would be my last words. Just go hard,
Yeah.
believe in your idea. You never know, you could be the one, pretty much.
Yeah. Word from him, like, just go hard, right? So, Dami, over to you. This is 8 on the dot, and I'm happy that we're wrapping it up already. What's your final word? What's your final word? Something you want people to know, whether it's developers, um, creatives, community members, and maybe somebody that's dreaming, someone dreaming out there, something. What's that thing you'd like to like wrap it up with?
So this will be very unusual and it might sound very insensitive, right? But the truth is,
I'm happy. I want to hear
nobody's
that's what I want to hear right now.
yeah. Like you see, Africans, we need to speak like we need to we need to paint the picture to Africans so they see these things as it is, right? Like, so nobody's coming to save you. Like, bro,
Alrighty,
no
bro.
one is like no one is coming to save you. So either you're looking for a job or you are a founder that wants to build your business, right? Or you're looking for the next gig. Nobody's coming to save you. Like nobody will come and give you what you want on a platter of gold. Like you need to go for it. To be honest, like I remember actually trying to like when I started doing stuff for Base and I went to join like Coinbase themselves. Like I actually a lot of people don't know this, but I actually went 1 year of doing stuff for Base like without getting paid. So I was not an employee. I was
Yeah,
nothing,
that's
bro. I was
crazy.
just doing this. I was just doing this based on okay. I love what these guys are doing. I love their culture. I love their mission, and I think they have the necessary workings and resources to back what they are trying to do. And so I just like okay, let me actually just jump on this bandwagon and see what we can do from Africa, right? Like and once we started seeing people coming along, tying into that vision. Echo is one himself. The builders like Machuche too, they're like one themselves, right? So like nobody's coming to save you, right? And like once you know that, it kind of changes your mindset totally, right? Because whatever you face, instead of complaining, you just go back to the drawing board and see, okay, how do I solve this and just move on? Do you understand? So like no one is coming to save you, man. Don't build, and that is one. The next thing is look at your competition as global, not just African. Like, and that is one
Yes.
mistake that right now a lot of African builders are waking up, particularly in the base ecosystem, because we preach that over and
Yeah.
over again. But like, look at your competition as global, not just like African, because you see, once you give yourself that standard, then it helps you to like project and you see things from a very different perspective, right? And there's someone that I would always use as an example, even though there are other pretty good examples, is Njoku. Njoku started out building laser PA for Africa, and later on he just like scratch this. You know what? Let's build something that can actually scale globally. And it's currently building ultra markets. There are a lot of good news coming that it will still announce. I cannot front run his announcement. Do you understand? But like
Yeah.
what I'm just saying here is look at your competition as global, right? Once you do that, it also raises the bar for you, and also it raises the probability of success, right? Because like
Yeah.
once you do this, for instance, now you can go to San Francisco and speak to a VC or an investor that has never left California, but they will understand your products because you are putting yourself on a global standard. Do you
Yes, sir.
understand? So like those are the two main things. Again, to recap, nobody's coming to save you. You're saving yourself. This is the painful truth, right? We Base will support you with everything that we can, personally,
Yes.
and also like as a company, as Coinbase. I mean, Coinbase is like the biggest crypto company right now, so we will support you. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your wins and your failures. Take your destiny by the horn. I think one other person that I've also seen this very good attitude from is Tochuko of Aza. Like Tochiko is just heads down doing shit. Like he's not even waiting for
That
stuff
guy,
again. Like
that guy should be studied. That guy, I think he should be arrested and studied.
bro. So like to recap, right? It's just nobody's coming to save you. And then number two, please give yourself like go back and like take a global outlook. So I'm building this not just for Nigeria, not just for Africa, but for the globe. And so if someone that is playing on a global standard sees this, does this meet global standard? Right? Like once you have that, then it makes you push yourself to build world-class products. It makes you push yourself to use products as well. Like I see a lot of people trying to build products, but they don't use products. Like I use a lot of on-chain products every day, and I post some. Right, there are some that have lost money. I've lost a lot of money on ultra markets. I've lost a lot of money on poly markets. I've lost a lot of money. Like, but I just try to. I use this as an experience to just learn about. Okay, these different products are there. Let me try them out. Okay, this is what we should do. This is how global products are built. Then, so African builders can also replicate this in West Africa. Do you understand? So, like,
Yeah.
just put yourself on that global standard. I think those are the two things that if founders actually imbibe those two characters, I mean, it's very, very easy then for Base to just take on and support.
Let's go. I think that's like a mic drop statement. Nobody's coming to save you. Like it's but from my end, what I would say to you is like give yourself time. Like don't if there's anything I know that Africans have is that we have what it takes. We have what it takes anywhere, anytime where we have the drive, we have the resilience. Like look at Dami saying he spent a whole year believing in something. Can you say you believe in your project that much? Like that's sometimes you just see people give up too early. Think about your project like a marathon and not a sprint. You see people just going for whatever they whatever they see. I've worked with um, um, a couple of people that when I look at their life and what it taught me is like go for long term. Long term always pays. Don't go searching for whatever you can have now and lose what you can get like for long term, right? Yeah. So I think we'll be having more of this series lives. We'll be talking to amazing founders from Base and from like amazing ecosystems.
Other
If it's
yes,
yes,
other
if it's
ecosystems.
yeah, because the idea is to take us global. We're going global. This is just the cap. This is just the well, I say the catchphrase. We're going global, and you better join the moving train, right? So thank you so much, Machuche, for um, joining in. Thank you for being doing what you're doing, right, with your product with Nedapay. And yes, this is just day one. This is day one. So
Day
let's
one.
keep building. Let's keep growing. I'd like to just scan a little bit and see the comments. I see someone saying Tanzania is coming on chain through Nedapay. Okay, we have somebody repping Nedapay here. I see that a couple of people are also doing saying similar stuff. Um, I see
Yeah.
Doro. I see Crypto Thames. I think that's Cryptems.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I see gold.
And
Yeah.
And like one more thing I want to add to that is Echo, we have a lot
Yeah.
of plans for this, right? So we were doing this before, but we actually just took a pause because we wanted to like go back to the drawing board and see, okay, how best can we add value instead of just doing this as a show.
Mhm.
And we're actually re-kickstarting this right now. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of plans coming up, a lot of products that will be coming up, a lot of founders, some are YC backed founders that will be coming on here telling us, okay, how did you get YC to back you? Like, spill the tea, man, right?
Yes.
And then we would also have global. I'm actually spilling the tea right now, but it's cool.
And we're
I'm
going to
giving
talk about
spoilers.
agents. Let me spill one too. I remember we have one for agents too. So, guys, just keep your eye glued. Be active in the community. Show up. Right now, the crypto ecosystem is not smiling, but I think the only way to win is when you stay close with the right community. Stay close. That's the only way to win. Like, it's almost like you could say it's like drought season, but when you're the right community, you're with the right people, you're always informed, right? I feel like if I don't end this call, we're not going to go home. There's a lot of things we'll be saying in upcoming sessions. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and see you same station, same time, right? Okay,
Yep,
guys.
yep, same day.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
All right, guys,
Peace.
take care. Thanks.
Peace.
Thank you. Elisha, how far now?